Hello and welcome to the special broadcast of World Today from Mariupol. We will be talking in the next half hour of what the problem is and where the problem lies. That is the Donbas region between Russia and Ukraine. But first up, a report from here in Mariupol and where I visited the frontline areas between Donbas and Ukraine. Shelling, mortar attacks on the way to Mariupol, trucks that have been burnt, there are charred bodies, graphic visuals, so viewers' discretion over here advised, but certainly a very, very sad scene. Nobody to really come and claim the body or even take the body. No postmortems because Mariupol is under siege. These are naval mines or what they call sea mines that Ukrainian side has left in many parts of Mariupol. We try to ask as to why are sea mines here in Mariupol. There was no specific answer, but quite a few places you'd find these mines kept or placed. What the purpose is or what the Ukrainians were planning to do with them still unknown. Kiev, Rus, why not?
Отойдите, отойдите, отойдите!
We had to take cover right now because the explosion was very close. Very, very close.
I'm from откуда вы?
Huh?
Откуда?
India today, India.
Ого.
This is the city of Mariupol, where most parts of Mariupol are now under the control of Russian forces and forces of the Donetsk region. I'm being joined by Sergeant Yuri over here. Sir, if you could explain to us what really happened over here. This was under Ukrainian control. When did the Russian side take control?
Yeah, it's a Ukrainian military truck that was destroyed by our artillery 16 March at night. Ukrainian soldiers drop the Vinnytsia and go to the Azovstal.
Right. So how much of the Mariupol area is now under Russian control?
At 60-70% of Mariupol now at control of military of Donetsk People Republic and Russian forces.
Mariupol sits right between Crimea and Donetsk. If this is captured fully, this is one of the biggest wins for Putin. This will be one of the biggest wins for Putin if Mariupol is under Russian control. So we'll have to wait and see how this works out. For now, the stretch that we took, it seems like, has completely come under Russian control, but there still are forces on the Ukrainian side fighting to the finish to ensure that they regain control of this port city, which is absolutely critical and crucial given that it faces the Sea of Azov. The biggest humanitarian crisis that the people of Mariupol are facing. A sea of humanity, sea of people over here outside the Metro shopping center, which has now become an aid and humanitarian assistance center. Long queues of people waiting from 7 a.m. in the morning just to get basic food supplies. This entire area now is under Russian control, and that's why it's the Russian and the Donetsk agencies that are working over here to supply food and humanitarian aid to the people of Mariupol.
Разве можно такое терпеть? Я не оправдываю ни ту, ни другую сторону. Это воинские преступления. Ночью, нет голоса нет, ночью бомбить мирных людей. Это подлость, самая настоящая. И ничем не оправдано. Продали страну без референдума. Мы виноваты. Нет. Я считаю, что это нужно отвечать. Не знаю.
Okay, she don't believe Gaga, don't believe Mohan. She claims that all of people could be in the safe place if it will be organized well. There's enough safe places for people here, but still they were at home in the night when shelling comes. So first time her house was burned, they stopped the fire, but in the second time it burned fully.
Mass graves. Because of winters, the land was absolutely frozen, so people who were killed, their loved ones could not bury them. But this is the crater caused because of an air bombing, and there are, again, viewers' discretion advised over here. There are corpses, remains of people who have been put in this very same crater because they could not dig the ground to bury their loved ones.
Had 3 flats. Now
Here in Mariupol?
in Mariupol,
Wow.
my flat, my mother's flat, and my son's flat.
And now?
And now I have nothing.
All the 3 flats have been
Yes,
blown up?
Yes. She flat, he flat, her flat,
All flats gone.
the flat. I live very, very good. I have poor, I have land, I can't fly. I was in Dubai in January. I can't go to cosmetology. Маникюр, педикюр, что еще сказать? What can I say you about it? I had everything I
You still have
want.
humor. She's saying she can't go for her manicure and pedicure. But see,
Is it good?
I can't. I tell
Is
you.
it women's?
My camera person Satya Rautre and I traveled to the very last post that has been taken by the Russian forces beyond Gorlovka. Here's a report.
A city in ruins. Out of food, out of water, out of electricity. India today is in Gorlovka, a city near Donetsk Oblast in eastern Ukraine. The war trail has taken us to Donetsk, to Mariupol, to Gorlovka. India today is the world's first television crew to reach deep inside the Russian-controlled territories of Ukraine.
The after effects of massive shelling here in Gorlovka. Shards of glasses now being removed by the residents. They're not leaving the city that has come under heavy shelling from the Ukrainian side. The windows broken, and now this lady over here, this old lady over here, is cleaning, tending to her garden. She's cleaning the glass, shards of glass, and what she says is that her flowers and her garden has been destroyed.
Все вычистили, цветов насажали. Ничего, вычистим, еще лучше насадим.
This woman says that in 15 there was shelling here, they bombed everything, but they rebuild it again. So they put the flowers here and make this territory pretty. And now again the shelling and everything destroyed. But she says, oh, it's not bad, we will just repair it again.
Hindi films
Bollywood is giving Elena good company and keeping her spirit high even in these times of war.
The song Jimmy Jimmy.
О, Джимми, Джимми, Ася, Ася, Индия, Радж Капур, люблю, не могу, всю жизнь люблю индийские фильмы. У меня столько дисков, Бобби есть, у меня много, да, Рам Шиам, Зита Гита.
This is Olha's house. She does not want to show her face because she has relatives in Ukraine as well. So it could be a security issue for her family members on the other side. But she's here. This is her house, which was destroyed. You're seeing new bricks because they're rebuilding. That's how resilient this town has been of Golgota, because they've been suffering this for a while. Olha over here will explain what happened. Olha, what happened to your house?
Что произошло с вашим домом?
15 июня 2015 года производился обстрел. Было 2 прилета именно по улице Шашурина, дом 15. И был прилет в 1-й этаж, фундамент этого дома, и рядом стояк, 4-й этаж, просто насквозь.
So it was 2 hits in the 15th year, and one of the hit was hit this house, and her flat was ruined. Door was out, and it was impossible to live here after that shell.
Right. Impossible to live out here. This is the house that is being rebuilt, and just if Satya goes to the window, beyond this point is where the Ukrainians are holding fort. So every time there is attack or a fierce battle between the Ukrainian side and the Donetsk or the Russian side, this town of Golgota is the first town to fall victim, and this building, this neighborhood is the one that suffers the most.
Verkhnetoretsk is where Russian control ends. 1 kilometer from here, Ukrainians are holding fort.
This is Verkhnetoretsk, where the Russians have taken control. This was Ukrainian territory, but now this has come under Russian control. The village over there absolutely destroyed because of the continuous shelling from both sides. Villagers have fled. Some of them continue to stay here, but most of them have fled. That's continuous shelling going on. And where we are right now is where the injured are being brought to the Russian camp. Camouflaged nets. You can see that to ensure that this house, this little house that they've taken up, is not destroyed. Now we're going in to show you exactly what. They're medics, they're military medics, medical team of the Russian military force, and they have an emergency operation or a operation theater where they are performing whatever rudimentary surgeries or procedures that can be performed. This is also the first aid center where first aid is provided to those who are injured in the attacks. And the ones who really require major medical help are taken by the medical vans to Gorlovka.
As Russian forces press ahead, it's meeting resistance from the Ukrainians. The theater of war has shifted from Kyiv to eastern Ukraine.
This is the last post where the Russians now have taken control. This was on the Ukrainian side, Verkhnetoretsk, where the Ukrainians had control. Now it is absolutely under Russian control.
In areas where Russian forces have taken control, it's confiscated machine guns and ammunition from the defeated Ukrainians. A lot has been said about the Ukrainians' love for their motherland and their resolve. The same holds true for the Russian troops. India today met a soldier couple in the war zone. They've left their 5-year-old at home to fight what many are calling Vladimir Putin's war.
This village now has been taken and is under Russian control.
Russia is sending reinforcements, including T-64 tanks, to the region. Moscow is determined to hold on to their hard-won gains in the last few days.
I'm atop a T-64 Russian tank, and they are now preparing to roll in to the border areas, the front line. The preparation is on. the weapons are being placed, ammunition being placed inside the tank. They were taking a break, but now they're preparing themselves to go to where we're coming from. The last village that now is under Russian control. Ukrainian forces have been pushed back and they require all the support, all the backup that's required. And therefore, these tanks soon are going to go rolling into those villages. Atop a T-64. With video journalist Satya Rautre, Geeta Mohan for India Today. Hectic diplomatic engagements in New Delhi. The world is engaging India. The West wants India to change its stand on the Russia-Ukraine crisis, while Russia wants India not only to maintain it, but also to go a step further and look at a Russia ruble and an Indian rupee economy for the gas and oil market. That means de-dollarizing the region and de-dollarizing the global gas and oil market.
As the Ukraine war rumbles destructively into its second month, one of Russia's oldest allies, India, has been a constant geopolitical spotlight. What role will India play? Can't India leverage its friendship with Russia to stop the war? Why is India going soft on Putin's invasion? Is India alleviating the impact of Western sanctions on Moscow? Has India aligned itself in a deeply polarized world since Putin's tanks rolled into Ukraine? If there's ever been a week that underscores India's primacy in the order of things, it is this one. Three top politicians spanning the dramatic divide have descended at the same time in Delhi. Each one amplifying an independent relationship, but also pushing some sensitive buttons. It began with US Deputy National Security Advisor Dalip Singh, who made the seemingly callous, intemperate remark lecturing India on how Russia wouldn't step in if China escalated operations at the border. A remark that has been widely derided, including by India's former ambassador to the UN, who labelled it as coercion.
Mr. Dalip Singh has joined the ranks of Mr. Preet Bharara in terms of being one of those persons of Indian origin who takes a dig and successfully tries to rattle India at every opportunity. Who is USA to impose sanctions or consequences on other countries? That right, if at all it is a right, belongs to the United Nations.
The abrasive and much derided quip from Biden's man was clearly to try and attack India's relationship with Russia, underscored today by the arrival of Sergei Lavrov, Putin's very vocal foreign minister, and the man doing much of the talking over the Ukraine invasion.
Indian foreign policy is characterized by independence and the concentration on real national legitimate interests. The same policy basis exists in the Russian Federation, and this makes us, as big countries, good friends and old partners.
India's External Affairs Minister has previously also hit back at suggestions that India was making missteps by dealing with the belligerent sanctions-hit Russia over oil and gas post the invasion of Ukraine.
What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression, calling for an end to the violence.
India, as you are aware, has always been in favor of resolving differences and disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. In our meeting today, we will have an opportunity to discuss contemporary issues and concerns in some detail.
Another player arriving in India fresh from the smoking chessboard of Ukraine was UK's Foreign Secretary, who has voiced apprehensions about India's role but played safe.
We respect other countries' decisions about the issues that they face. India is a sovereign nation. I'm not going to tell India what to do.
The month gone by has also been riddled with condescending commentary from Western think tanks pronouncing India's abdication of strategic duty during the current war. Words that have been responded with contempt by Indian analysts. The truth is, India is a close friend of Russia and has a deepening relationship with the US too. So has the week gone by perhaps highlighted above all that India follows its own foreign policy path and won't be influenced. Bureau Report, India Today.
The Russia-Ukraine war has brought to fore the complicated workings of the global oil market and how Russia plays a critical role in this gas and oil world. While the international community has imposed harshest sanctions against Russia, Moscow has responded to the sanctioning and the squeeze. How is Vladimir Putin trying to ensure that the sanctioned Russian ruble stabilizes amid gas price surge? Here's a report.
In his latest response to the Western sanctions, Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree wherein the unfriendly countries have to pay in ruble for Russian gas. This was caused by the sweeping Western sanctions that followed the beginning of what Russia calls a special operation in Ukraine on February 24th.
I made a decision to take actions to switch payments for natural gas sold to so-called unfriendly countries into the Russian ruble in the shortest time possible.
While the West is now blaming Putin for the global price surge of gas and oil, Moscow insists on currency switch in order to keep the Russian economy afloat.
Putin began amassing troops along the border and then crossed. And guess what? The world took notice. The market anticipated. Prices went up. And then Putin invaded. Make no mistake, the current spike in gas prices is largely the fault of Vladimir Putin. It has nothing to do with the American Rescue Plan.
The European Commission has proposed legislation requiring EU countries to fill storage to at least 80% this year. Meanwhile, Paris and Berlin will not accept Russia's condition to pay in ruble in exchange of gas.
The answer is very, very short. We have looked at the contracts for the gas supplies, and in these it says that the payment will be in euros, sometimes in dollars, but usually in euros. And I made it clear in the conversation with the Russian president that this will remain the case. And whatever his ideas are on the subject and what will happen, we will look at very closely. But in any case, the rule for companies is that they can pay in euros if they want to, if they can, and that they will.
Some pipelines transit Ukraine, while others take alternative routes such as Yamal Europe, which crosses Belarus and Poland to Germany, and Nord Stream 1, which runs under the Baltic Sea to Germany. Putin's demand has stoked fears in Germany, Europe's top economy that is heavily reliant on Russian gas, about potential disruptions and the impact on industries and households should utilities fail to pay in rubles. While the West is feeling the Russian heat, the geopolitical dynamics is witnessing a major shift. It is not just Russia. China is also offering currency switch by trading directly in yuan. The US could be left wanting with one of its major partners, Saudi Arabia, reconsidering the petrodollar mechanism for buying and selling oil. With Washington utilizing economic sanctions as weapons against countries, including larger economies, China, India, Saudi Arabia and Russia could be the catalyst of de-dollarization.
That's all in the special broadcast of World Today from Mariupol. Goodbye and take care.